Hey everyone, Trader Tim doing a trade recap for the week. In the earlier part of the week, we had come up to the 50% retracement short, and that held all the way through the end of the week. So it was really just a week of daily short going entry to target. We basically traded to the tick. Put on 24 hours worth of data, came down today, traded to the negative 23% target and got our bounce. So we can draw up the next retracement to look for a short, the next short, but we're also sitting at the long at this point, the 36.25. So if we pull a full 50% retracement, that would be the failure point, which lines up with the swing high. So we'll call a 2077.50 break confirmation that this long, this 2036.25, would be the valid setup. And so if we were to break this little swing high, then we could take from lows to highs and wait for the next daily setup long to trade, and then start taking daily long setups up towards the 2140 level. So that's kind of how to play the daily setups. If we go to a 5-minute chart, you can see this morning the move down to the negative 23% target, which is this dotted line down here, and a little bit of kind of a apex or a triangle formation, if you will, where we have a low, a high, and then we have a higher low and a lower high. And then it tightens, higher low, lower high, gets really tight in here. You could draw up a 50% retracement for a bounce off of the daily level down here, this 2036 50s, 2036 25s. But going back a little further in the week, we had some really good setups on the 5-minute chart. Wednesday, let's see, the 4th. Yeah, Wednesday opened up with a gap down, a slight move lower, and then a break above the 5-minute high to low bar. Took us up for a few points. Didn't make it all the way to the gap fill, but at least, and the gap down had a little bit of a pause, and then attempt at a gap fill, if you will. And then middle of the day, we had a full halfway back that traded and kind of went down in a couple legs throughout the afternoon. And then in the afternoon, we broke the swing high over here and then started trading in 50% retracement long. So you can kind of see the patterns that we kind of trade in these waves and bounce back up to the 50 or pull back down to a 50. On Tuesday, in the live trading session, now looking back in hindsight, we were trading lower throughout the morning. We did have a nice 50% trading hours only short that traded right here, and that had a nice reaction, and then that went right to the 50% long. And sometimes you're in a short and you come down to the long, and the long trades, and then you're stuck in the middle between a long and a short. Nothing you can really do other than trade the first one that sets up. But once the long did move through the negative 61.8, or the 61.8 rather, we traded up towards highs, broke highs, and then rolled right back over. So fairly decent action in the morning, and then the afternoon kind of a take back, but not really a full gap fill. So lots of gaps going on this week. A lot of good 5-minute setups for a few points here and there off the open, and then some nice larger moves in terms of 50% retracements as well, and coming off of the coming down to the negative 23, and then coming off of that with a new daily long setup. So a 15-minute after a daily setup would be the same thing as a 512 after a 15-minute setup. So those are some of the trades from the week going into next week. We'll see if the full 50% retracement holds, in which case whichever 61 we break, if it's the long or the short, then that will give confirmation to the other. So in the meantime, the next setup, actually I'll do two things. I'll draw the full with the overnight from highs to lows that we came up into today. And if we go back to the 5-minute, you can see right as the market closed, kind of tucked right to that 2054 short. So we'll see when the markets open up on Sunday if the short holds and we continue down lower, or if we start breaking the 61.8 and then break the full 61.8, and then the long. Well, then we'll start looking for long setups. So with that, I hope you all have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.